And so San Diego, why come here?
One guy came and got me. He came up and he said, I've asked everybody around, I need somebody to do this. Your name came up 50 times. I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse. So I'll give you some stock, maybe 25% raise in salary. You can be the VP of engineering. I'm going to tell you how sharp of a company we are. We're growing, we're doing good. We've started up, we're now this big. We're making good stuff. We need somebody to come. They got one of the founders. The two other founders didn't like what he was doing, wasn't performing well. He would go in his office and compute all day, and nobody was supervising the engineers, and nobody was getting the products out on time. And they wanted somebody to kick some butt and make it, and it was the weak link in their company.
Okay.
And I was impressed at these guys, what they'd already done. They had already figured out what their market was. They already figured out a niche. They already done really good products. They already grew it up on a shoestring and owned all of it. There was no outside investors, and it was growing, it was doubling every year. And they put and I liked the marketing guy. The marketing guy was a very slightly older than me. I mean, he started this company, he was like 23. And he had an ego the size of who knows what. But the bottom line is you couldn't stop him from finding out where money was to be made and what you needed to do and how you needed to make it work. So as a business model, he was the creator of that whole idea.
These are like the early seeds of the .com and tech startups, right? I mean,
Yeah, this was the first time that solid state devices were now being put into actual products, as opposed to the old discrete parts that were made up with vacuum tubes and stuff. This is where you had lots of leverage from the semiconductor industry to do magic.
Right. And you're 28, 29?
Yeah, that's something I was.
Were you sitting on top of the world?
No, I was working my butt off.
I know, but you have a big reputation. Everybody wants you. You're getting all these offers. That must feel good.
The offer was good, but it was a move. We had little kids. We had 5-6 years of roots in Orange County, and San Diego was kind of the backwoods of everything at the time. There was nothing going on, sleepy town.
Right.
But it was the birth of the instrumentation industry, of all instrumentation industries, with the exception of Hewlett-Packard, so Tektronix and Borg. Down here was all the high-precision electronics, all the digital high-precision electronics was done and founded down here. And so some of the people of my first company were from San Diego and had done it here as well. So those are guys I know today. One of them lives over in Solana Beach. He's 90. And he was my first boss. He's right down the street.
Wow.
But they all came from here in that industry. So it was a welcome relief after the other ordeal. So that was kind of like, for the first time, me going, I'll take a little easier path. And it was easier because the one in the middle was really, really an ordeal. It was kind of like the Navy SEAL training.
Right. But
a year's worth of SEAL training, okay?
But that showed you could do it.
That just raised my game.
Okay.
All right. It just took the tolerance for solving problems left and right, inevitably just never letting anything stand in your way. Because that's the guy I was working for, never let anything stand in his way.
Okay. Wow, that's powerful. And the company here was Doric?
Doric.
Okay. All right. And so you move into Calle Leticia. I'm 2 years old.
So we move into an apartment.
Right.
And we over there we lived in the apartment all jammed up there while we decided where we're going to live. So every day we moved down like in October, November, and I got into Beetle. I drove down from there for a couple of days, and every day that I was down here at lunch, I got out and drove in a point of the compass in San Diego. I went all the way east, all the way south, all the way north. I went everywhere looking for neighborhoods. We had some friends that lived down here. They helped by pointing things out to us. So I looked in all those, searched the whole freaking county for a place to live. And one day I drove up from PB up north, and the hill was bald. There were no houses there at all, and all there were pads. And I drove up in there, and there was a sales office and nothing but pads. And I stood up on there, and I looked out, and I said,
Because you could see the whole bay.
Oh, you see the whole bay. You see already Mexico, and the price was approximately, well, we made enough money on the first house for the down payment, so it was affordable. And I was making a lot more money at Doric, and so we still saved money, and we had to wait for it to be built. So we lived in the apartments for 6 months or so, waiting for it with rugrats around, tearing the house up.
And then you move in right before my second birthday, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.